Hello and welcome to another episode of Monday Night Madness. My name is Adam, and in this video we're going to be going over some Torchlight 2 gameplay. First off, what is Torchlight 2? Torchlight 2 is a loot-based action RPG, just like anything in the Diablo series. You hack and slash, or if you're playing a maged or ranged character, explode your way through hordes of enemies to get hordes of loot and just feel pretty good about yourself in general. Came out, I believe, a little after Diablo 3, which, because a lot of people were disappointed with Diablo 3 at launch, both the very bad launch experience that most people had with, midnight launch, yay, and then the servers are down for like 8 hours for some people. Torchlight 2 had a very smooth launch, maybe because there wasn't, everybody but, really like, oh, need this game. But I haven't had any problems with it, and that was something very nice to see, because Diablo 3 was a nightmare at launch. And we're not just talking about the difficulty. It is actually made by a company called Runic, and if nobody's familiar with Runic, or if you're not familiar with Runic is actually the people that worked on Diablo and Diablo 2, Blizzard North was what they were called before they were dissolved. Blizzard North made Diablo 1, Diablo 2, really perfected that art style, and they were great at what they did, and then Blizzard dissolved them, and they were no longer part of the company. So they went and made Runic their own company. They made their own company, Blackjack and Hookers, all that. And said, alright, we'll make a spiritual successor to the Diablo series, because we can't make a direct successor because of the fact that Blizzard still owns the rights to Diablo. So they made Torchlight and Torchlight 2. And they play just like Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. And just like, the variation with the class builds, I haven't found a set build yet for any one of the four default classes. That being the Outlander, which is a ranged hunter, the Berserker, which you see I'm playing right now, melee DPS or tank, the Engineer, which can be melee DPS or tank as well, and the Ember Mage, who throws fire at everybody, just lights people on fire, and it's just hilarious how much fire there is. He lives up to his name. So I haven't found a set way to build any one of them yet. Which sounds odd because, well, there's got to be a perfect way. There's not really. It's just, how do you want to play? Do you want to invest heavily into shadow abilities as a Berserker and lifesteal the fuck out of everything ever? Which is what I did. Or do you want to freeze everything and invest into Thunder skills? Do you want to invest heavily into the fact that as an Engineer, you have the ability to create constructs and little helpful bots and stuff that will help the party out or just help you out when you're soloing? Do you want to poison people as the Outlander? You can do that. The variation on the builds is amazing, because once you reach a level where you have an ability unlocked just with the level in any of the trees, you can decide to put points into it. So I'm heavily invested into Shadow, and I think it's called Ferocity? Hunter skills. More into Shadow, as you can see. But then I've invested a little bit into Ferocity, and then I don't have anything in the Tundra tree. But because I have everything unlocked because of my level, I can invest points at any time into any part of the Tundra tree. Do I want the Tundra tree's not endgame, but final tier ability, the Glacial Shatter? I can just say, okay, I'll start throwing points in that now while I level up. You're not restricted to, oh, well, you have to have 50 skill points in such and such tree to be able to put points there. And because of that, you can kind of choose the stuff that fits your playstyle the best, and whatever's the most fun for you, even if it doesn't suit your playstyle necessarily in terms of effectiveness. But if you're like, oh yeah, this is really fun to just press 4 and run around as a giant shadow wolf because that's fucking really cool, you can do that. It doesn't matter. The game, you don't get punished because you want, oh, I want this and a little bit of this and a little bit of that too. And because there's so many options, the level cap is also extremely high. I don't remember it. I think it's a level 100, maybe 120. And since the game can't be made long enough so that you're always leveling up, they don't want to make it so that you level up that quickly. They have implemented a new Game Plus feature, just like Dark Souls, or, you know, a lot of games are actually doing New Game Plus now. You beat the end game boss, you hit New Game Plus, and it lets you keep your character and all your stats and all your gear, but then you get sent back to the very beginning of the game. All the enemies are scaled up in terms of level compared to you, which is actually what I'm doing right now. All these guys are level 56. I think I'm level 53. Yeah, I'm level 53 right now. And this is like for one of the first areas in the game. So they do really well at making sure that, hey, you don't have to grind forever if you don't want to. But you can always just hit New Game Plus and go through. If you don't want to hit New Game Plus, there's also a thing at the very end of the game, which is just you buy randomized maps from a vendor, put them into a little machine thing, and then suddenly you have a randomized map. Of course, it gives you a premise whenever you buy the map, like, oh, this is in a swamp-like area, this is in a castle dungeon, or whatever. So you don't have to start New Game Plus right away. You can dick around and do that. You can run back through your game and all that. You can farm loot, which is actually what I did to try to get these drills. The drill that I have on my hand, because I thought it was cool. And so it's all just really well thought out and well executed. The art style is one thing that actually puts some people off from this game, which, as you can see, it doesn't exactly look dark and gritty like Diablo 1 and 2. Looked pretty gritty and dark in that sense. But it pulls it off quite well, and it kind of gives a little more accessibility to people that don't have amazing PCs. Our friend Andrew on the channel actually has a very bad PC, but he's still able to run Torchlight II at decent settings because it didn't go for ultra realism or just anything other than what they went for, which some people might argue looks cartoony, but I think if they can pull it off well, then anybody should be able to do that, and the game really did pull it off well, and I think it'll age well because of the art style, kind of like Zelda Wind Waker aged well so far because of cel-shaded graphics. And so it's not necessarily entirely cel-shaded graphics, but it's the same kind of deal. It looks a little different than what you might expect, but then again, it doesn't start to look shitty after just a little bit. As you can see, it is an entire, it is glorious loot fest everywhere. Loot is everywhere, enemies everywhere. It's a lot of fun. The combat is very tight and slick. The movement, you move fast, at least in relation to other things. And even if that means that the maps are kind of scaled big, you move so quickly, it just kind of makes the entire game feel a little faster than if you move extremely slowly and just kind of plod it around. Another thing is that there are elites, rares, I guess, if whatever you want to call them. Like this guy, Luzmer here, with the purple health bar. And I don't think I've found an elite rare, anything that wasn't like a boss or pre-scripted into the game, that wasn't just entirely, ooh, almost died there, that wasn't entirely unique because of its special abilities that are put onto it. I don't think I've found an identical rare yet. Like, their special abilities are always randomized and different, along with their race, you know, and each race has special abilities anyway. In Act 2, this is Act 1, there are acts to separate the story. There are armadillo guys that have a built-in shield, all that kind of stuff. So, it's just really unique. The combat never really gets old for a lot of people. People that do, you know, find it to get old are probably the same kind of people that don't really enjoy loot-based RPGs in the first place because they can get old for some people. It's always still, you're just, oh, well, I'm gonna just fuck everything. And some people really enjoy that, like me, and other people are like, well, I don't really want to fight all the time. And so an action RPG maybe isn't the best game for you if you feel that way. Or at least loot-based. And really, it's just a good game, and the devs have done a great job with another thing that you don't see a lot of people doing anymore, which is They have full mod support and capability. They like welcomed people when the game was launched, and they still do, to please make mods for it. If you want to change something, make mods and share your mods with everybody else and do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If it enhances the gameplay for you, go ahead, play with mods on. You don't have to worry about it. So in addition to the 4 default classes, people have been able to mod in their own classes. I believe there's a mod out currently that gives you, what is it, 72? I think it was a mod that had 72 classes that this guy had made, and then just released it like, hey, here, download this. It should be fun. And it was cool because you'd think, well, 72 classes, those are going to get boring, but the guy did a great job, and really just kind of shows the power that if you include mod support in your games, if you include, you know, the ability for people to change things they don't like about your game, it's really going to enhance the experience for a lot of people. I'm playing the stock version right now. Stock has no mods, just for the purposes of the video, but I do have a few mods installed. One of my other classes is Dragon Warrior, I think he's called. He's from that really large mod, or large groups of classes from that mod I was just talking about. And he's a lot of fun because there's just fire everywhere, and I run around with a sword and shield and beat the shit out of everything ever. So just all in all, the game is extremely well executed. It is available on Steam as well. So those of you that aren't wanting to maybe buy directly from the Runic site can buy on Steam and then link your Steam account to your Runic account, which you'll have to make if you want to host an online session, which by the way is extremely easy to do. It's all very intuitive. It's just like, oh, you want to make a session, give it a name, do you want a password, do you want it to be open to your friends, and then you're good to go, and you can play while you wait for people to drop into your game. You can play while your friends try to figure out what the hell you named it. So it's all very smooth. You link your Runic and Steam accounts. If you bought it on Steam, it'll ask you, and then it does it automatically. You just sign in on the Steam webpage. It's like, alright, thanks, you're good to go. Your Runic and Steam accounts are now linked up. You want to import your friends, all that. It makes it really easy to play with friends. Drop in, drop out. Hey guys, bye guys, all that. You can play single player, you can play with mods. Just everything about it is really what I felt like Diablo 3 was missing in the early I don't know, months, I guess, of the game being out. Which was awesome to see that Runic had gotten it right on launch. Not just like, oh, well, we better patch the fuck out of the game because we've done goofed up. So it was good to see that. And I don't know, I don't really have very much else to say about it. It's a good game if you like action RPGs, if you liked, you know, Diablo 1, Diablo 2. Make sure to check Torchlight 2 out a bit. I have heard of another game called Path of Exile, which a lot of people are heralding as like, oh, this is just like Diablo 2. This is amazing. The art style and everything. And I've looked it up a little bit, and it does look extremely good. I can't say anything on that right now because I haven't actually played the game, but you can expect probably a Monday Night Madness in the future sometime touching on Path of Exile, because Path of Exile is just, I have to check it out. People say it's like Diablo 2, I have to. I'm morally obligated. Alright, and that's all we've got for Monday Night Madness today. We're just going to stop right before we go into this boss room because we don't want to spoil too much. And if you liked the video, please comment, like, and subscribe, or add it to your favorites or whatever. If you didn't like the video, feel free to comment, dislike, critique, let me know what we can do better here, and I hope you all have a wonderful time. Thanks.